Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is TJ Jones, and welcome to the State of the Saints. This will be a weekly show focusing on every single Saints game throughout the 2018 season. And I decided to do that because I'm a lifelong Saints fan, and I'm also a radio personality in South Carolina, but I grew up in New Orleans, so I watched the Saints throughout my whole entire life. So I really love this team. I really support this team, whether good or bad. But I will be focusing and dissecting every single game that they play this season. Let me focus on game one, week one of the NFL season. The New Orleans Saints at home took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and not just any Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They took on the Ryan Fitzpatrick Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they got destroyed, 48-40. Now, I know somebody who probably didn't see the game. They're probably saying 48-40, that's not too bad. But the Saints were down 24 points going into the fourth quarter. They were down 40-24, and they had to climb their way back just so this game could look respectable. And I'm going to be honest with you. Ladies and gentlemen. What I've seen from the New Orleans Saints, I'm really getting sick, and I'm really getting tired of. I'm really getting sick and tired of the New Orleans Saints laying an egg on defense. I'm really tired of watching Drew Brees and the offense go up and down the field on teams and me having to keep my fingers crossed, my lucky rabbit's foot, my lucky horseshoe, and hopefully I can say a prayer that the New Orleans Saints defense make a stop. This has been going on over and over and over again throughout the years. When are we going to address our defensive situation? I hear so many people online when I ask this question. You can follow me on Twitter at TJJones8, or you can follow me on Facebook at TJ Jones. I asked the question, I said, when are we going to get a defense? And people are like, well, it's just week one. I mean, the story hasn't been written yet, blase. But when you watch teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, who sucked year after year, and you watch these guys have a defense. Last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars had 7 new starters on defense. 7. They had 7 new starters, and they had the best defense in the league. They have 4 new starters this year going into 2018, and they held the G-Men, the New York Football Giants, to 15 points. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this game, and I'm like, wow. Why can't my defense be like this? Why can't my favorite team, the New Orleans Saints defense, be like this? And I don't understand why it can't be like this. Watching the Saints defense on yesterday was like playing Madden and playing on rookie mode. And rookie mode is like the lowest level that you can play on Madden. Watching these guys go up and down the field, the defensive front wasn't getting no penetration. The secondary was getting beat like a Persian rug. And you look at these guys, and you're like, these were the same guys that were playing last year. Now, we can make these theories about maybe they were reading their own press clippings. You look at some of these major sports shows like Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. Both Skip and Shannon had the New Orleans Saints going to the Super Bowl. Maybe they're watching that kind of stuff. And you even look on Twitter where you look at some of these football players for the Saints. They're always posting stuff like Pro Football Focus, talking about their stats and talking about how they're ranked in the top 3 in this particular category. Maybe they're reading into their press clippings and they didn't realize that they had a game to play. And they underestimated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were hearing all week about how they were going to be a Super Bowl favorite and how they were going to roll over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the Saints forgot one thing. They had to play the game. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers slapped them in the mouth. But back to my original question. When is the Saints going to get a defense? And there's no excuse why they shouldn't have a defense. I mean, if you look at the Saints and who they have to pay, there's no excuse why they can't have a defense. You look at some of the players that they have on the team, nobody has a major contract that they have to be concerned with. I mean, you look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees only has a 2-year contract. I mean, he's getting over $20 million a year. But at the end of the day, it's still not much. And most of the people on your defense are under rookie contracts, so that's basically like pennies. So I don't understand why they can't have a credible defense. They are killing Drew Brees. Can you imagine how many Super Bowls or how many Super Bowl appearances we would have if the Saints had a lick of defense? I ain't even talking about in the top five. Let's go ahead and suspend that, okay? Let's go ahead and get rid of that, throw that out the window, ball it up, throw it in the trash. If the Saints had a top 15 defense, they would be in Super Bowl contention every single year. Drew Brees is almost 40 years old. If you looked at how Drew Brees played yesterday, I mean, absolutely flawless. Drew Brees left it all on the field yesterday. I mean, I was looking at Drew Brees. Drew Brees looked like he's in the best shape of his life. I mean, the way that he was throwing that ball, how accurate he was. It is a damn shame if the New Orleans Saints don't make it to the Super Bowl this year. And they have the team to do it. These guys can be champions. They have what it takes to be champions. But I just think that they read their own press clippings. I feel like they thought that this was going to be a very, very easy game. They looked at Ryan Fitzpatrick and they looked at these guys and said, oh, these are the same guys we're playing last year. You got to keep in mind, these are very, very young New Orleans Saints players. You look at people like Marshawn Lattimore, who probably had, one of the best games of his career against Mike Evans. So he thought, man, I already locked him up last year. I can do it again. You look at some of these guys like Marcus Williams, who had an interception against him in the back of the end zone last season. Oh, man, I had me an interception. Man, it's going to be easy. And then Jameis not playing? Let me tell y'all something about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I always say, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the greatest no-tape quarterback you're ever going to find. When you find tape on Ryan Fitzpatrick, then it's up in the air. But when Ryan Fitzpatrick go from team to team, I mean, his ability to absorb the playbook of that team is amazing. In that 1 year, man, he looks like he's an all-world quarterback. But that second year, when you get tape on him, he looks absolutely hot garbage. The New Orleans Saints underestimated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they got slapped in the mouth. Now, if you're a Saints fan, you're probably saying to yourself, man, this sucks. But I would look at it this way, if you want to. I'm glad that it happened to him. I'm glad that it happened to him early. I'm glad that they got slapped in the mouth early. That way, they will know how it feels. They know how it would feel to be down and how everybody is picking against them and nobody believes in them anymore. And they can use that as motivation and they can become the underdog. Maybe some people just need to be the underdog in order for them to perform at a high level. I don't understand why, because you have a job to do. Your job is to play defense. Your job is to win games. Your job is to stop the opposing wide receiver from catching a ball. I just don't understand it. I'm just sick and tired of this, man. I'm tired of year after year these guys not having a defense. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of watching these guys lay an egg on the field every single year. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why we can't have a defense. I don't know why. But I tell you this, Drew Brees' career is about to come to an end. And I tell you this, I know we got Teddy Bridgewater on the bench, and Teddy Bridgewater is a very incredible, serviceable quarterback. But at the end of the day, he ain't Drew Brees. He's not as accurate as Drew Brees. I don't feel like his work ethic is the same as Drew Brees. And I don't think he's a leader like Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a certified Hall of Famer when he decides to hang up his cleats. That is without a doubt. When you have somebody as great as Drew Brees, I mean, you don't know what you have until it's gone. If you don't believe me, ask the Miami Dolphins. If you don't believe me, ask the San Francisco 49ers. If you don't believe me, ask the Cleveland Browns. Okay, not the Cleveland Browns. We won't ask the Cleveland Browns. But speaking of the Browns, they are coming in next week. And they're another one of those underdog teams who a lot of people probably are going to be picking to lose against the Saints. And the Saints cannot take the bait this week. If they want to be a Super Bowl contender, they cannot just look at a piece of paper and say, we just going to beat that team. This is not Madden. You don't put different ratings together and you do a simulation and all of a sudden your team win because you have higher rating than that team. It don't work like that. You play between those lines. You line up against a guy, and you try to beat that guy. And you do that every single week because all of these players in the league right now, all of these 53-man rosters on here, they are comprised of guys who are hungry, who are just as determined as you are, and maybe not on some levels they're as talented as other players are, but these guys want to win. So hopefully this was the wake-up call that the Saints needed, but it just said that they needed it. This has been the State of the Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Who dat?